Going to be doing. One thing we're going to be talking about is the new lease agreement that is coming up. This is a new agreement that going as of April 30th. All new leases that are being signed need to be using that. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We're going to talk about the CREA update. We're going to take a look at Authentisign, and we're going to talk about our CRM scripts and updates. So we have CRA update first, CREA update first. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm just going to pull the email up so everybody can follow along. Try to save some energy here. So, what is it? So this is CREA's 2017 update.
2017 was a year of celebration as CREA helped realtors across Canada blaze forward in an ever-evolving real estate industry. CREA's government relations team had its hands full with ongoing business like FinTrack, but was hit by some huge consultations on personal and corporation tax rules, cannabis, drones, and anti-spam legislation. We were thrilled to help amend the proposed tax changes and modify the anti-spam rules. Looking ahead, we are already hard at work to make realtors' voices heard on Parliament Hill in the lead-up to the 2019 federal election. Realtor.ca added Google Maps and neighborhood lifestyle functionality, delivering a 22% increase in leads to realtors. With the redesign of our most popular tech tool, CREA Web Forms, and CREA Global Affiliates program generating international leads, CREA is helping realtors navigate a changing technology landscape. For the first time, CREA hosted Real Time Let's Talk, a national pop-up speaker series featuring Canadian thought leaders, designed exclusively to support the commitment realtors have to their profession. In a year that paid tribute to our great country in honor of its 150th birthday, CREA continued to highlight the many ways realtors help improve communities and celebrated the year's incredible milestone, reaching a 5-year total of over $100 million raised or donated for charity. From government advocacy to national advertising campaigns to member events to best-in-class technologies, CREA is working hard for realtors across Canada.
So I thought some of them very, very interesting. For example, cannabis was one that Usher just mentioned as well. That was something that they have worked on. If you want to get more details on it, you can go to annualreport.crea.ca and you can take a look at the whole 2017 annual report. Some of the things that I found interesting was CREA Web Forms. How many of you have seen the new CREA Web Forms? Anybody has updated them? Do you know what they look like now?
We are using them now.
You're using them, right? Because they were in beta for a while, so now they're actually working really well. I don't know, how many of you have DocuSign or Authentisign? You have, so you see that how it integrates with them. So you can just do one click and it takes all of your documents, puts them in DocuSign or Authentisign, and you can send them out for signature. So it's really, really nice stuff that is happening. So they also, like as they mentioned, switched over to Google Maps, which is really nice. And what was the other thing I wanted to talk about? If you want to review their financials, you're more than welcome to take a look at those too. I encourage everybody to take a look at them. At least get a glimpse of where your money is going, because you're paying $110 a year for this stuff, right? So find out what's going on. It's a really good way to keep keeping in touch. And there's also their contact information on that. All right, so that's that. Let's talk about that's nice. Huh? I can't even find that email now. Okay, we'll do it another way. just had the email, I should have kept it open. So there is a mention. I'm looking for the email that was sent out. How many of you guys voted last time around?
I did.
You did? Alright, so this is a little blurb that was in the email that really caught my attention. So, TREP has entered into an agreement to provide members with industry-leading transaction management solution, transaction desk, including integrated electronic forms and e-signatures. So, they have already entered into the agreement. This is supposed to be rolled out in April or May. Does it say anywhere over here? But, mid to late spring, you'll be able to take advantage of transaction desk feature, including pre-programmed CREA and TREP standard forms. So, one of the things that I really liked about this, again, I have to find that video. Maybe it's in here? This is bylaw compliance. Did I send you the video or no?
For
For the Authentisign. Anyway, so it has unlimited free e-signatures with Authentisign, unlimited document storage of all types of documents. It also has the ability to start a transaction with one click from the MLS listing. I really found this interesting. So if you are working with a client and you have a property that they like and you are at the property in MLS, all you have to do is just click one sign, start a transaction, and it will actually put all of your forms in there and get it all pre-prepared, and you can just have to enter the buyer information and put your clauses in. So this is basically creating a bridge between MLS, web forms, and your signature document signature service. So I don't know what the fees are over here yet, but one of the things that I'm doing is I'm actually taking my DocuSign out. I'm canceling it, but I'm not canceling it right now. I'm going to cancel it and switch over to Authentisign. So when Authentisign goes live, then they will have this. Now they haven't said anything about if DocuSign will work or not work. DocuSign is working right now in web form, so there's two providers in there. So you can use either or until this comes live. If there is a cost, obviously you want to take a look at that. But from the way that it's worded, it looks like it is going to be included in your standard membership.
So, what you're saying is, DocuSign is going to be,
DocuSign is something that is going to work through web form still. I don't think they're taking that out,
okay,
right?
but you pay for it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
With Authentisign, chances are you're not going to be paying for it. The way it's worded, it looks like you're not going to be paying for it. Or you're going to be paying for it, but it's going to be part of your fees. Does that make sense? Because if you look at DocuSign right now, I'm paying $240 a year for DocuSign, but they have made an offer to our brokerage of doing it for $120 a year. But I think there's a big push that they're putting through because they expect to see this coming through and they're going to lose some business over there. Is everybody with me so far?
I've used it for the trial version of it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
I haven't used it, so I can't comment on that.
I have used a free trial version,
Yeah.
and it's got some limitations in there. It's not the same as
Can you talk a little bit about what limitations?
Well, in terms of, I didn't find that user friendly.
Okay.
Little bit complicated in terms of filling the forms and like working around there. So, but Authentisign, and the best ones that I have seen, a lot of agents are doing that too,
Yeah,
is Adobe Acrobat.
Acrobat, yeah.
Yeah, that's, because, I've seen a lot of agents are actually now using that too instead of even Authentisign.
Yeah, and that's $12 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get that, and it gives you a couple of other apps too. There's a couple of different versions they have available. I had looked at it. I frankly didn't use it because it's not integrated with web forms. With web forms, you just do one click and the documents are all over.
Yeah.
So, but it is also a very good option. The other thing that they're getting over here is Transaction Desk. Transaction Desk actually links into, it's a Lone Wolf product. So our office uses Lone Wolf as their back office. So any transactions that you're doing, I'm not sure yet, but my fingers crossed that it can actually connect into our Lone Wolf and push transactions right in. So as you're doing a transaction, you just click a button and you submit the deal to the office. So you don't even have to, there's more chairs here. You don't even have to basically print it out and email it. The office will automatically have it as soon as you've done a transaction. So that's also another big feature. So this is a really good step because we're talking about going paperless in the office. So if we're thinking about going paperless, these are the kind of services that we need.
So it's similar to dot loops, like something.
Yes, dot loop is also a signature. It's a transaction management, right?
KW is using
Yeah.
it, right?
So this one is available. Lone Wolf is an industry standard provider. So they have, like, I don't know, how many of you had Real Web Leads websites? Real Web Leads is owned by Lone Wolf. So they have a wide array of services that are available. So Transaction Desk is going to be a really good addition to that. All right. So we talked about CREA. So Authentisign, I wanted to check this out for you quickly. So they currently have CREA members only special. So you can try it for 30 days. And again, it works with web forms, as I mentioned before. And you also get Transaction Desk app on your Apple on your phone, so you can actually manage all your transactions right from your phone. So that might be something that you want to take a look at. Again, it's free for 30 days. I'm going to actually give it a try, and if anybody else does, I would love to collect your feedback on it and see what you think. Before I get into the last item, before we get into the lease agreement review, which is our main topic today, I want to talk about how many of you are familiar with what's going on with REBA.
The Government of Ontario has launched a review of the Real Estate and Business Brokers Act. CREA lobbied hard for the review, arguing it was time to modernize the legislation to make Ontario a leader in North America when it comes to real estate. To modernize REBA, we want to hear from you, Ontario's realtors. A lot has changed since REBA was created in 2002. Back then, most real estate deals were done using pen, paper, and fax machines. Social media didn't exist. The iPhone was still 5 years away. Today, real estate deals are done digitally from anywhere in the world. Most realtors are mobile, using their smartphone to not only respond to clients, but market themselves and complete transactions. Times have changed, and REBA needs to keep pace. The review of REBA is happening in 2 phases. The first phase will focus on the practice of multiple representation in the fall of 2017. The second phase will look at the entire Act and extend into 2018. To help the government modernize REBA, CREA has initiated an extensive member consultation to strengthen the Act in 3 key areas: education, enforcement, and ethics. Each month, we'll be posting a white paper on one of these topics with a series of proposals. Your feedback will help us formulate our final recommendation to the government. This is your opportunity to shape the future of the real estate profession, help modernize REBA, and protect your business by having your voice heard. Go to REBAReform.ca and help us modernize REBA for a modern Ontario real estate market.
How many of you guys knew that there was a reform going on? We talked about this before. We talked about designated agency. How many of you remember that conversation? So do you know what is coming up down the pipe? So one of the discussion, again, it's not law yet, one of the discussion is that they're gonna take multiple representation out completely. So if you have a buyer that you're representing, you can only represent the buyer. So if you have a listing, you cannot have an agent, you cannot represent the buyer as well in the same transaction. Now what you will be required to do is contact your brokerage and have the brokerage appoint an agent that can represent the buyer. So that's one way. And what they're calling it is designated agency. And guys, this is not final. This is my opinion from what I have read so far, that this is what they're calling designated agency. Now there were a couple of kinks in that, because when you have an exclusive listing where you're not cooperating with agents, how do you deal with that? In that case, they talked about having a customer service agreement with all buyers. So you're not representing any buyer, you're only representing the seller. So there's a couple of kinks in there. So I urge everybody to go check out the website, rebareform.ca. They're going to be, it's their last phase now. So this started back in 2017, and now we're coming up to the end of all the consultation. So now they're talking about ethics, enforcement, and your, what's the third item that they had?
Education.
Education, thank you. So it's the three items that they're talking about right now. So it's coming up to the end. Go through it, take a look at what the questions that they're asking, and provide your opinion, because it's your business at the end of the day. If they change a rule, and it will affect you directly. Did you know about 5 years ago, I was telling our broker of record Omar about this. Did you know about 5 years ago, the Upper Society of Canada had implemented a bill, they had proposed a bill that all real estate transaction required a lawyer. So any representation that had to be made had to be a lawyer. So all of a sudden, we were all out of business and none of us knew about this, because it was a law that was being suggested. CREA caught it when they were doing their review, and they went back and they said, you can't do this. Not all of our agents are lawyers. If all of our agents were lawyers, we'd be practicing law, we wouldn't be selling, right? So basically, stuff like this, you have to pay attention to. So it's very, very important, revivereform.ca, make sure you guys check that out. So right now, if I go in here, I should be able to show you. You can get notifications on the next white paper that is coming out. Again, it's coming up to the very end of it. If you guys sign up, you can still provide your opinion on anything that is pending. So those are the different items that they're looking for. All right, so let's get back into our presentation now. How many of you know that there's a new lease agreement coming into place? Right? Everybody pretty much knows? So if you're doing any leases right as of April 30th, all of those leases have to be signed on a new form. So let's take a look at it at a glance. So the purpose of the standard lease is, the standard lease uses easy to understand language to help landlords and renters understand their rights and responsibilities, reduces illegal terms in leases and misunderstandings caused by verbal tenancy agreements, and reduces the need for landlords and tenant board hearings to resolve disputes. Who must use, sorry? Oh, there's another chair, sorry, I can see it. There's more here too.
Sorry.
All right, who must use the standard lease? The standard lease will apply to most residential tenancies and interior, including semi and single detached properties, apartment buildings, condominiums, secondary units, i.e. basements. So pretty much all of the ones that you're going to come across, it's going to be applicable to it. It does not apply to care homes, for example, retirement homes, mobile home parks, or land lease communities. Anybody know what land lease communities are? Vern.
It's a portion of where you just own the construction on that piece of land, the land still is owned by a condo corp.
Yep.
Same concept, but just more stringent.
Yeah. A good example of that is mobile homes. So trailer parks. So trailers are owned by the people that own the trailer, and the land is leased by them. So that's why you will see a lot of times when mobile homes are being sold, one, they're very, very cheap. Two, it has a lease price, somewhere around $1,000 a year, for them to just put park their trailer on that piece of land. Do you know how many mobile home trailer parks are in Mississauga?
0.
No, they have,
No.
I know. No,
Who said 0?
I thought so, 0.
no, there's Etobicoke, there's a section of.
Not in Etobicoke, there's one in Mississauga, too. There's two in Mississauga.
What?
One at Road Erie, and then one is at I think, near Highway 10 Center.
Yeah, it's in the south. Yeah, Cooksville.
Near Lakeshore, right?
There's one near, there's a couple of them. There's one by Lauren Park as well. So they are available. So if somebody says that you can't buy a house in Mississauga, tell them I can sell you one for 150,000. And you're not lying. All right. This is they're also not applicable to social and supportive housing except from the rent rules under the RTA. Do you know what RTA is?
Residential Tenancy Act.
Thank you. Residential Tenancies Act. So basically, all residential tenancies, any lease agreements that you're signing, this is the law that governs it. So going forward, the Residential Tenancies Act, they're basically what they're doing right now is they're just putting the teeth in. So landlord and tenant board, anytime there was a dispute that was coming to the landlord and tenant board, a lot of times what they were finding is, one, there is no lease agreement in place. Two, if there is a lease agreement in place, it has a lot of illegal items in there that contravene the Residential Tenancies Act. So to circumvent that, they said, well, we're gonna come up with a new lease agreement that everybody has to use. All right? And it outlines everything that needs to be done. Now, we're gonna talk a little bit about what are the standard things that you guys have been using so far and what the law talks about. How many of you have done key deposits? Right. Are key deposits legal?
No.
No.
Actually, they're legal.
They are?
They are.
They are?
They are.
I
Key
think
deposits,
deposit is not.
key deposits are legal, but they're limited. You
Oh.
cannot charge more than what it would cost to replace it. So a lot of times we have a standard key deposit of $150, $200, right? If it costs you to pay $60, you cannot charge more than $60 for a deposit. Pet deposits, are they legal or illegal?
Sorry, what's that?
Pet deposits.
Illegal. Illegal.
Anybody else? Anybody for legal?
So it's for damages, it's not considered for pet, but any damages, like deposits
still
for
illegal.
damage.
It's still illegal. You cannot have damage deposit either.
Yeah.
What you can include is that, now can you restrict pets?
No.
According to the condominium.
That's it. So the only exception is if there's condominium bylaws that apply that you cannot have a pet in there, those are the only restriction. You cannot restrict somebody from having a pet. Now what happens if you have it in the agreement that they are not allowed to have a pet and then they have a pet?
You can't do anything.
Can't do anything.
Exactly. You can't do anything. What happens if you have a client that gave a deposit for a pet?
The client can go back and sue.
Thank you. You can go to landlord and tenant board and you can get that money back.
Yeah.
Yes.
So all of these are true statements over here. So we all know them, but still sometimes when we are talking to our clients insist that we have these included in the agreement. And we do. So going forward, what's going to happen is there's a standard document that is going to be in place, and that standard document is going to actually spell these things out. So we're going to look into it a little bit more. So anybody that wants to get access to this, the link for it is MAH, so Ministry of Housing, mas.gov.on.ca, and type in page 18704.aspx. So, is it too small for everybody? Can it be easier?
Yes.
mah.gov.on.ca. Here, let me do this. You guys will be able to see this better. Can you see this?
Yeah.
And this comes into effect from 30th of April?
That's correct.
Can we
What-
put it up before that or no?
Yeah, you can use it before that, yeah.
What's the difference? Because I saw the tenancy board, they have their own form. It's a fillable form. Anyone can download.
Yeah, but those are mostly for when you're making claims.
No, it's a lease form.
That one is getting updated too. So
Okay.
it's the same form that has just been updated.
Okay.
So it used to be they had a form over there for anybody that wanted to use it. Nobody was using it.
So for example, I had just like a client came from India and I told them like, you know, it's hard to find a place, you don't have any credit. He has like both husband and wife, $150,000 each job.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, that's amazing, but you don't have any history, just keep